In the movie Meet the Parents, humorous scenarios were created out of the embarrassment caused by awkward family moments. But which situation is more awkward? Addressing an issue head on or sweeping it under the rug? Today we're in for a treat because Jeff will be giving a speech from the Advanced Communicators Manual on becoming an entertaining speaker, and he will be tackling that exact question. Please give a warm welcome to Jeff as he delivers his 11th Toastmaster speech titled, How to Slay an Elephant in 7 Minutes or Less.
Okay. Since this is my first speech to all of you, it's essentially an icebreaker. But instead of me talking about the fact that I'm from a Midwestern upbringing, the fact that I'm a health nut, I have my own blog about it, SanDiegoHealthNut.com. The fact that I'm a fearless entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur ever since I was a kid, when they hand out those little brochures and it's like, go sell candy, kids, and make lots of money. What I'm going to be talking about, I'm actually going to be taking a risk today and tackling the subject of taboos. Space there. Taboos are also referred to as the big elephant in the middle of the room. So everybody heard that quote before? Okay. All right. Make sure I'm not missing anything here. Okay. So the big elephant in the middle of the room. There's another saying that how do you tackle a huge project, or how do you eat an elephant? Anybody heard that one? One piece at a time, right? So if you have this big elephant, the only way that you can really manage that is you're just going to do one piece at a time. So there is a big elephant in this room that is just waiting to get eaten. We're going to talk about homosexuality. I'm a gay man, so here we go. Elephant, room, okay. Let that sink in. All right, so it's kind of awkward, right? Because I just dropped the bomb. Yeah, handle that, people. What if I walk out the door right now? Kind of awkward. So let's talk about it. So what better way to talk about a taboo subject than with other taboo subjects? So I'm going to talk about this using sex, politics, and religion. Let's start with sex. Stand-up comedian Lisa Lampanelli is quoted as saying, "Once you go queer, you stretch out your rear." I would like to refute that quote, because I would say you do not go queer, you are born queer. And I have an anecdote to prove it. When I was 10 years old, it was Halloween night. I was getting dressed up. I had a red dress, the press-on nails, blonde wig, high heel shoes I borrowed from my sister. And I had no idea that I was actually dressing up in drag. I thought I was just paying tribute to somebody who I thought was pretty freaking awesome. So the whole world knew, and they saw it, and it was obvious to them, but I didn't even realize it, because that's pretty much who I was ever since I was a kid. Some people may say, why do you need to talk about sex? Why do you need to bring sex into the workplace? Well, I'm going to tell you why. I was in the Navy for 6 years, and I'll tell you, it is a hard thing to do, to come to work and people talk about, what did you do over the weekend? Oh, so what's going on? So you got a girlfriend, and you have to tell all these half-truths. Well, no, I'm kind of seeing somebody. No, I'm married to the Navy. Or, I noticed there's no pictures on your desk. What's going on? No, I've just always been single. You know, it's a hard life. You know, I got no game. So it's very difficult to keep that line so hard in the sand. And so it's not about talking about sex. It's really about just being yourself in the workplace and really being authentic and being willing to tell people this is exactly who I am. Taking that risk and then not being afraid of what people's perception may be, because I have to live my life being comfortable in my own skin. I can't worry about what makes other people comfortable in their skin. So that's sex. We got that. Done and over with, all right? So now we can relax. All that awkwardness is done. Let's talk about politics. All right, there's a lot of political stuff around being gay. We're basically treated like second-class citizens in certain ways. One is marriage. I am not anywhere close to getting married. I don't want to get married. I know that it is a big commitment, and I am kind of glad, actually, that I don't have that societal like peer pressure to get married. After I've been dating somebody a few years, it's like, well, I guess I have to do it. Otherwise, people will look at me weird. So I'm glad I don't have it, but if I was dating somebody for a few years, I would want that option. And it kind of makes me mad that I don't have it. So I'm very political about that. I am not afraid to be an activist, to march and say, you know, we should have that. And it's helped me understand the idea of gay pride. That a pride parade isn't really about freaky people being freaky out in public. That freaky stuff that they really want to showcase on the news is really a symbol of these people are not, whatever that means. And so like right now, this is my opportunity to be exactly who I am. If somebody put me on the spot, I'd be fired. I'd have to pay back my ROTC scholarship. And so it's weird because being in this situation, it's like I don't have to hide it anymore, but why do I hide it? So the theme was pretty appropriate because I thought if I was going to give an icebreaker, I would want to just lay it all out there because I really enjoy this group. I really like all of you. And it's hard to just really be yourself when you can't do that. So that's politics for you. You know, you're not always going to get exactly what you want, but you keep fighting the good fight. And so when you vote on things on the ballot and you think about, you know, gay marriage, is it okay or not? I hope you think about your coworker and who you're affecting. It's not that crazy person who's wearing leather out in the street or in drag. Like the most extreme example of homosexuality, it's people who you probably are friends with, are in your family, maybe they haven't come out yet, that you're actually voting on those rights. So that's politics. Let's move on to religion. How many denominations are there in Christianity, would you say? Maybe 30, 40, 50? There's a lot of interpretations of the Bible. Some say homosexuality is a sin, it's an abomination. Others will say other things. There's an excellent movie, documentary called For the Bible Tells Me So, where they have theologians that speak on exactly what does that quote mean? Why is that in there? Why did they say abomination and not sin? I could spend a whole speech just talking about that, but for the sake of time, I would just recommend, you know, check that out, and I'd love to have a conversation about it. I'm not afraid to tackle that elephant either. I think having a conversation and open dialogue, and even if you end the conversation by saying, I think we have to agree to disagree, at least you've touched that subject, and it's not awkward to kind of bring it up. You know, you feel closer to that person by knowing each other's opinions and respecting each other's point of view. And so that's sex, politics, and religion. I am Jeff Underwood, your big elephant in the middle of the room, who has now been slayed. And I want you to think about this speech the next time you're in a situation with family or friends. And there's something that you normally wouldn't want to touch, because I know with EEO we're supposed to be super respectful, but I think there's a way you can be respectful and still address things that are taboo, and the person on the other end of the fence will appreciate you for it. So you get your elephant slaying knife ready, and the next time it happens, be ready to get like Pulp Fiction and get an eagle on that. Mr. Toastmaster.